Well, let's go back to our spotlight guest, Tom, where he shares how he and his parents didn't always see eye to eye on things.
And how a time when he was disrespectful to his mother led him to a major change of attitude.
I know they want the best for me, and they've gone through college already, high school, they've gone through jobs and everything, so they're trying to give me their experience that they have to me so I would understand what it's like. I believe there was a time, I forget if it was freshman year or sophomore year, I yelled at my mom for something, I don't remember what it was, we were in a big argument, and she was very upset about that, and she wanted me to go talk to somebody about it. I ended up talking to somebody about it and, ended up apologizing to her later, and I understood why she was upset because, I'm her son and she only wants the best for me. So, there's always going to be the little fights here and there in the long run. Apologizing, yeah, it's hard, but, forgiving, especially your parents, forgiving your parents is very important because, again, they're always going to be there for you. And they only want the best. Me and my parents obviously won't see eye to eye, so there'll always be times where we'll fight and not want to talk to each other for a while, but I love my parents, so they're always going to mean a lot to me, and that I'll be able to take care of them when they get older, like they took care of me when I was younger.
I've never really thought of it like my parents have already gone through high school and they've already gone through college, they've already, basically grown up, and it's just I guess that's kind of where most of our fights come from because I feel like they're out of touch with me and then they feel like they know everything about me. So it's always usually somewhere in the middle is, the best way to be.
I argue with my mom a lot, and sometimes I'll talk to my dad and he goes, Mary, you never apologize to your mom when you get into a fight. I just blow it over, and it's true, I never apologize. And I think Tom said that it's really important to apologize once you get into a fight, and I guess when I go home tonight, I'll apologize to my mom for something that I did 2 weeks ago or something.
I always apologize within 30 seconds of the argument. So my parents don't really take our arguments seriously, I don't think a lot. But I do fight with my parents. I think everyone fights with their parents.
Well, not really fight, but just my mom and I always get into these little arguments because we're so much alike and we're both really stubborn. So it's I'm right, and she's no, I'm right. We just keep going back and forth, and sometimes we'll just throw our hands up and we'll start laughing because we realize she's just like you are, so much like me, and this argument's going nowhere, and we'll just sit down and try to make a compromise or just try to forget about it.
We don't argue often in my family, but when I argue, it's mostly with my stepdad because we always find the littlest things to argue about. I'll come home and he'll be like, you didn't put napkins in the napkin holder. I'll be like,
I feel like everyone argues with their parents because everyone's parents want what's best for them, and all kids our age just kind of want to have fun and be kids, and parents know what they've been through it before, so they know what's good for you to do and what's bad for you to do. But as kids, we can't really see the whole picture yet, and so our parents are trying to show us what we should be, and we don't always agree with it.
Yeah, I think it's important to understand that your parents are older and wiser, and they do know, they're trying to lead you right. I think it would be good to just sit down and listen to them because you have so much more experience.
I actually don't argue with my mom. I guess not as often as you guys, no offense, because we don't really have time to argue because we're in so many different things. It's if we argue, it's an argument and everybody's just blowing up at each other, and then we just learn to love each other and it's over. We don't argue for a long time.
Well, our parents are very special people in our lives and deserve our respect and our special relationship to them.
One way to respect them is how we speak to them and how we speak about them.
There are all sorts of nicknames and abbreviations for them, like rents or parental units, for instance.
Sometimes we use those words with a sense of affection, but often we use them with a sense of annoyance and exasperation because we don't like what they're asking of us.
Our parents are the people who brought us into the world, who have hopes and dreams for us.
Who have made sacrifices of time, money, and self for us.
Do you consider what your parents have done for you?
That's what we ask the teens on the street.
Let's check it out.
I do consider quite often what my parents have done for me.
Yeah, I consider it all the time. I'm grateful for it too. I do consider like what my parents do, like the work and the time that they put in, yeah.
Not lately. I'm waiting later for that.
They always do so much for me and I have to think of what they do for me and stuff.
They make decisions for me that are right.
Just paying for college, like it means so much to me because she doesn't have to do it and she goes out of her way to help me.
Dad's put away a lot of money for me to go to school, and you know, I hope to one day repay him if I can, because it's a big sacrifice that he's made for me.
Do you think you need someone to protect and guide you like parents?
I think so, especially as a teenager. Like, you don't really know what there is to do. You don't know who you are. You need someone just to guide you on the right path so you don't make any mistakes.
My friends do that too, but my parents are a big part of that.
Especially at this age, I think my parents like play a major role in my life and I couldn't live, I guess, without them.
I need somebody to protect me because I don't really make good decisions most of the time.
You need to have a caregiver, you know, in your life.
I think now at the point in my life I'm a little better off by myself, but I still want them there by the side sometimes.
What have you learned from them that might help you to be a good parent?
Responsibility.
They have taught me to be responsible.
That you have to be caring and loving.
I've learned just to be patient and kind and to do everything you possibly can for your child.
Everything they do will influence me and how when I'm older.
To be level-headed and, you know, to keep it cool and be loving and always be there.
As teenagers, we have a natural tendency to want to be on our own and be more independent.
Which can often cause friction when our parents have other expectations for us.
While this tension is normal, it doesn't mean that it's suddenly okay to dismiss your parents' advice or intentions, to be rude or angry or to treat them in a disrespectful way.
Our generation isn't so far removed from theirs that we share nothing in common.
So, would it make a difference in your relationship to them if you saw them through the eyes of gratitude?
How might this impact the way you respect them or the affection that you have for them?
Next, we ask the teens on the street when's the last time they thanked their parents for life and all they've done for them.
Let's hear what they had to say.
Maybe like a couple weeks ago?
A few years ago, I'd say. I don't really thank them that much for life. I never really think about that.
I guess not for life and everything, but I mean, I always say thank you and stuff, but I never really initially said that.
It's not too often that I go up to my parents and I'm like, thank you for giving me life, but in some sense I do thank them for the little things and occasionally in the broader picture of giving me life.
I cannot remember the last time I thanked my parents for giving me life.
I think my parents often enough, I think.
I thank my parents all the time because if it weren't for them, I wouldn't be here, and if it weren't for like everybody else's parents, they wouldn't be here either.
I actually thank my mom today because she gave me most of the money to come here, and I thank her for just helping me out with everything when I need her.
I haven't, but I should. I should probably do that as soon as I get home.
Do I believe my parents are a gift from God? Absolutely, and vice versa, I think.
I do believe my parents are a gift from God. They're great.
I believe my parents are because they treat me good and like I really love them.
Yeah, I believe my parents are a gift from God because without them, then I would probably be living on the street.
They have to be a gift from God.
Sure, I think so. And that means I'm a gift from God too, you know, kind of.
I think they're from God because they're amazing parents and they do everything they can possibly for me, so definitely a gift.
So how about you guys? How are your parents a gift from God?
And what are some things that you've learned from them that might make you a good parent?
I know I've learned to be really like ambitious and like reach for my goals from like my mom. She like always tells me like reach for your dreams and everything. And as far as my mom being a gift from God, you know, she's there for me. You know, we might not always see eye to eye, but she's always there for me. Like I might be having a bad day and she might find a funny joke to say, but you know, she's there. You know, she's my mom.
I learned from my parents that like to have like good parents, you have to support each other. If you have a spouse, you have to support them so that the child doesn't go to one person and like they give them one answer and then they go to the other parent and they give them a different answer. So you have to work as a team so that to be a good parent.
What I've learned from like my mom is that faith is something really, really important to have, especially with the family. Like, it's not like my mom drags us to church, but she's got us more into our faith that all of us really, really want to go to church. It's something that like matters to all of us. And we say the family rosary every night, and just like having faith in your family and keeping God in the center of your family relationship is like, I realize it's so important and it makes things like so much different. Like I think of what it would be without God, and I realize like I'm really happy that my parents brought me up with that and have taught me like all about my religion.
I always like to think of the saying, the family that prays together stays together.
Yeah.
And like I just started getting my family to start doing the family rosary every night, and it's just been really nice. But
I truly regard my mom as a gift from God because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have had my big conversion from like living a sinful lifestyle to aiming for holiness now. But I've definitely learned like responsibility from them and just how to be a gentleman, really.